All right, I'm going to show you how to graph this data that we have here. So notice I have the lab completed, and I did this with you. And I'm going to go back and re-reference the data I collected. So I have this information here, and I'm going to graph it. And here I have the information, chomps per second, but I'm actually going to use my original data, and I'm going to use my 10 seconds as my x-axis, my time on my independent, well, on the x-axis. So one of the first things I do that I would recommend you do is draw your x and your y axes and label them. This time is going to be in seconds, and this here is going to be the number of, let's just say the number of the activity, right? Because we've got both bubbles and chomps. So that said, here's 0. Now, if I put a scale to this, I could say here's 5 and here's 10. So I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 10. So right, 1 second. So each of these squares are 1 second. And this was, remember, our timeline was within 10 seconds. Now, here I've got my values. I can't ignore that my number of chomps, I had 13 as an average, and my number of bubbles, I had 2 bubbles. So my largest number here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do something like this. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So these are 5, 10, 15. Now notice for my number of chomps, I'll do in one color. So I'm going to go with I'm going to create a code. So number of chomps are going to be in black. And my number of bubbles, right? Number of bubbles are going to be in red. So now I just graph it. I find my XY points here. Notice for my number of chomps, it was 13 chomps, 10 seconds. So technically my XY coordinates for chomps would be 10 in the x. In 10 seconds, I made 13 chomps. So 10 comma 13 would be my XY pair here. So I go 10, and I go up to 13. I put a dot here, and I just connect it to my origin. And for my bubbles are going to be 10. In 10 seconds, I was able to blow 2 bubbles. So 1, 2. So it's going to be way over here. Quite low, much lower, gentler slope. So my it's going to be 10 comma 2 for my XY pair. And if I look at this, if I only look at this here, so I can call this my bubble gum lab. That's my title, and I can make a summary statement. And my summary statement is going to be something like this. You know what? I'll change colors just to make the color coding good. I chomp gum much faster than I blow bubbles. And I can just put this in a box and just kind of call it done. But it's a nice summary that makes sense of the picture here. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sense as to what we're doing, how we're doing it, and gives you a preview of what's to come.